man?
Hello. It has been entirely too long for
It's
reasons related to all of us.
it's been a minute.
In fact, tonight you're just seeing us because what is it? Last week, you had to switch dates, so now we're recording on a different day now during the week. And then this week, Chuck asked yesterday night, as we were recording this, when we were recording, we told him today, and then today at 2:00 he told us he was booked at a wrestling thing. That's about the size of it.
Yep. Today, as of recording this, our last episode went up because it's taken me a little bit to get around to it.
It's long,
And it is long, yeah. So our best of 2020 and worst of 2020 is up. Um, and next week, all things considered, Chuck will be back with us, and we'll be
The walking,
reviewing.
the talking facsimile of a Skype symbol. Yes.
We will be reviewing his and mine joint number one film of the year.
I'm not gonna go too deep into my thoughts on it, but I will say that had I watched it before doing my list, Sports Glory Collection would have been an honorable mention. I'm not gonna say where Wolf Snow Hollow would have fallen on my list, but it would have at least bumped it off.
Fair enough. So this is episode 37. We're like,
Yes.
this is the end of fucking January already.
Yeah. I feel like we had some kind of plan for this month, but fuck it. Nothing makes sense. Nothing made sense this month. So.
Nothing has gone right. This month has been a fucking train wreck. Not just because of the world, just because of the shit that's been happening in my life.
Of course, and we do what we can.
So tonight we're reviewing Antebellum.
And funny thing is, I'll get into it later, but weirdly, it apparently is strange that we're reviewing Antebellum. It's apparently unusual, according to some websites, because some surprising sites, to my views, have not reviewed this movie, at least one in particular. And it kind of bothers me that they haven't.
Is that bloody
But we'll get
disgusting?
to that. Oh, Bloody Disgusting has.
I figured.
Dread Central hasn't.
There's still a thing?
Dread is, as we discussed recently. But yeah,
Dread Presents.
if you search Antebellum on their website, you get a bunch of stuff that's like prelim, like here's some stills. There's no actual review. Like they never actually reviewed it. And I kind of feel, I'll get into it in a minute, that that's kind of emblematic of how people are treating the movie. But we'll get there.
I mean,
So Antebellum.
I've seen a lot of different people have mixed reviews on it, or say that it's good, but they'd probably never watch it again, kind of deal. So I don't know.
It's a divisive movie. It's ironically enough probably the most divisive, controversial movie of the year. I'd say it's more divisive than The Hunt has been. So
Probably.
yep.
So Antebellum stars Janelle Monáe, and she is Veronica Henley, and she is a very successful author, I believe a political author.
Yeah, I believe so.
And she is making waves in the news with her most recent book and her, you know, outrageous way of thinking, apparently, because she is a black woman, and yeah,
And is, we'll just say, drawing attention.
from people that don't like black people.
Basically, this is the, and I was wondering how you were going to do this. This is the spoiler-free synopsis, because it is really frigging hard to give a spoiler-free synopsis of this movie because of how they structured it.
Well, and I mean, you've seen,
And you
like,
kind of, yeah, that's it.
pause this, watch the fucking trailer.
Yeah.
They don't tell you how it happens.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole time that I'm thinking of like fucking time travel or something,
Mm-hmm. I
had
was
no.
thinking of what's the word? Oh fuck. Descendant. I was thinking like Descendant and then, Future Time kind of thing.
Well, I was thinking yeah, like some similar to that, like time travel or like dreaming, you know. But no, no, kind of threw me for a loop. If I'm being
It's one
honest.
of the I would, if I'm being honest, it's probably one of the things I like the least about it is I get why they structured it that way,
Hmm.
but it does hurt the movie.
I think it is my least favorite aspect of the film, and it makes it harder to believe.
Yeah, in some ways. And I will say again, we're going to be bending over backwards here to not give terribly many spoilers, but some events, let's just say of the last like month or two, we'll go with, and even beyond then, like some of the twists in this movie that are kind of very quickly glossed past in terms of how all of this is able to happen in their world. Yeah, they seem kind of crazy on the surface, but are they? Like they're a little extreme, sure, but then you have the shit that's happening in the real world, that toes into that line. And then we were going to review this after the day we recorded, originally anyway, the day we recorded the best and worst,
Which
and
was
that would have been a kettle of fish. The sixth
the
a
sixth,
day,
yeah.
yeah, which would have been its own special kettle of fish.
Correct.
Um, Originally, actually, we were going to view this when we reviewed
Porno.
what the yes,
No,
porno.
yeah.
Yeah,
And then I figured it would be better to get the best of episode out first.
not wrong.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, this one's just been getting pushed back, and I mean, the sixth would have been the best day to
we
do it, but we were having
but
technical issues on Chuck's end
yeah,
with his
and
fiber
just in
wire.
and just everything else. Um, but I think Janelle Monáe is really good in it. I think that there's an element of it where you don't necessarily think she's acting, particularly in the parts that are, we'll call them, her public speaking and her TV appearances. She's kind of just being herself and kind of being a kind of believable regular person. She's not kind of one of the things the movie does really well, at least on her side of this issue, is that she's not painted as overly zealous. Like we talked about The Hunt and the fact that everybody in that movie is intentionally painted satirically over the top. She is not over the top, and that's one of the better aspects of the movie, at least in terms of it hitting home. Um, to not go directly into what the people play, Jenna Malone. Every time I see her, I can't escape the specter in my head of her in Saved every single time. So anytime she
That's
plays,
who the fuck she is.
yes, yes, she also has some other weird like horror movies she's done that are batshit odd and very very indie. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, I believe she is in a movie called Doctor Moreau's. Uh, she was a kid in Contact, but yeah, she's also in, as you know now because your wife wanted them on DVR. She's in all the Hunger Games movies or a bunch of the Hunger Games movies.
Oh, is she?
She's one of the yeah. She's one of the she's one of the other people, other victors, in the later ones. But
I'd still refuse to watch those.
she's in Neon Demon.
Yes,
I've not,
she is a Neon Demon. That's right.
I haven't watched it myself, but she is in that. I'm watching that
It's
myself, but she's in that.
it's great.
It seemed like it'd be a hell of a lot better than the Suspiria remake was. Um,
Like that's Neon Demon's the only thing that I could pin her to when I was watching this. I had like I've seen it's been a long time since I've seen
she's very
Saved.
much a that lady, that girl. It's like they call it that guy when it's a guy who's been in it. She's very much that kind of thing.
But Morgan like
Um,
absolutely loved Saved, and we had probably watched it 5 or 6 times.
oh, it's fantastic.
And as
It's
soon as you
fantastic.
said that, it was just like
It's
fucking
right there. Yeah,
obvious. Yeah.
yeah. Sucker Punch.
So,
Uh, she was in The Ruins.
hmm.
And I know it's hard to. But the thing is, with that, it's not because she's bad. It's just everyone's so good she doesn't stand out. But she's just
I've
one of the
wanted to
characters.
go back and revisit that recently.
It's real good. Um, but yeah, here we go. Jenna Malone stars in Corn with its famous DVD cover of a bunch of sheep and the word corn written in like this weird screwy font with the O being replaced with a Biohazard logo.
Oh, I thought you were going to say like KO backwards RN or
No, no,
something.
no, no. It's a PG-13 movie from 2004. That's actually the movie she did after Saved.
Huh.
That's what I was thinking of. Go.
So has
Yeah.
Janelle Monáe been in a lot of films? Because
She's mostly known for music.
well, yeah, because her first album is fantastic, and
Mhm.
I absolutely love it. But I never really um pursued the rest of her career. So this was like the first thing that I had seen of her acting in.
So most of her IMDb is concerts. She's a voice in Rio 2. She's in Moonlight. She's in Hidden Figures. She's in the Amazon Prime show Electric Dreams, and then a lot of music videos. Welcome to Marwen, that weird Steve Carell movie with like the small town with little
Oh, where
figures
he
in
was
it.
like he
Yeah,
was, you know,
yeah, that thing. She's in
yeah.
there. Uh, Ugly Dolls. Since you're a parent, I doubt you've let your kids see that one. That one's from
I,
2019.
I know what that is.
Yeah,
I
the
think my
movie of
kids
that.
watched it. I haven't.
She was in Harriet, as in Harriet Tubman. She's a voice in that Lady and the Tramp redo they did.
Hey, I have Harriet
So
Tubman now, thanks to Chuck.
I know, right? um, but no, yeah, she's very very good in this. Um, and I will also say the best way I can put it is the other people, shall we say, are as much of an asshole as they need to be to make you hate their guts. Is it a little over the top? Sure, but I think that's kind of the point.
Well, yeah. No,
Um,
Jenna Malone is phenomenal in this also.
oh God, yes. That's the thing. Like I could not get over that because she's so quiet and calm, and like the main lead in Saved, and then you go into this, and it's just like holy fuck.
She is such a cunt in this, and it was so good, man.
Well, in the Hunger Games, I know you haven't seen it. In the Hunger Games, the particular person she plays is intended to basically be a similar kind of character.
Hmm.
She's kind of a really, really no other way to put it, bitchy one of the like she's very much just the mean girl of the older tributes that have won. And so she's there and she's kind of very much the clashing one. So she's kind of found a niche over time of being this kind of character. Um but no, I think it's very well done. I think also, and again, this gets to in our lists, I put this fourth. You guys, I know you didn't put it on your list. That's fine. One thing I'll say about it is a lot of stuff that we did put on our list had a hell of a lot lower of a budget than this did. And it's evident in terms of the fact that this had the budget it did because you buy the environment, shall we say?
Well, and I think this wasn't like we talked. I don't think I'd hit the record button yet, but before we started this, like I had said, a lot of people told me like give me mixed reviews on it because I reached out to a few people that do reviews, like not Chuck or,
Sure.
but I was like, hey man, what do you think of this? Because you and I, this is strangely enough that we were recording without Chuck a few months ago
Yes.
when this actually came out, and I was like, the whole episode, I'm like, do I want to pre-order this? It comes
Yeah.
out Tuesday,
Yep.
kind of thing, and I held off on it until right around Christmas because I ended up getting the 4K for like $14.
Mhm.
But I honestly think that this would be talked about more
Mhm.
if it wasn't about what it's about.
And that's kind of one of the things I was going to talk about in a second. I've been looking at it, buying it myself on a regular Blu-ray. It's usually about on sale for like 15 to 13 bucks
I
right
think it's like
now.
$11 or some shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
11 bucks. And I'm going to eventually get it because I liked it enough to do that. Like I said in the last episode, it was my fourth best of the year. But the thing that mystified me was I don't do this always, but sometimes I'm just like, this movie seems like something I want to know what the consensus was. And so the first thing I did when as I went and looked at Rotten Tomatoes, and Rotten Tomatoes, of course, is full of shit. Always has been, always will be. I mean, and not in the sense that the reviews on them are full of shit, but the concept that you're talking about a site that basically aggregates everything together. And if you don't give something high enough of a number, you're automatically saying it is just as bad as if you gave it the lowest possible review. Because it lumps everything bad on one side and everything good on the other side. And you're making this kind of weird false dichotomy. And so what that gives you is the audience rating on it. We mentioned it's mixed. It's 53. That's about as mixed as you can fucking get.
On IMDb, it's got a 5.6 out of 10.
Exactly. And that's the thing usually about horror, because horror is, as always, will be very subjective. So if you ever see something get higher than a 5 point something, it's usually a really, really good movie. If it gets a 5, it's probably good. You might like it, you might not, because it's very much subjective. And so a 5.6, yeah, that's about what I would expect. The critic consensus on Antebellum from 173 reviews is 28%. And I started reading. I looked at some of like the little capsule things, and first, the overall consensus they say is it fails to connect its images with any meaning, making for a largely unpleasant experience lacking any substantial scares. That's the overall consensus they write from everybody else's stuff based off what they think. But like I've got one that says it says it has an under-considered plot, and the more difficult questions behind its world-building choices go unaddressed. I've got one that says the final reveal simply doesn't work. It's a grand, if blindingly obvious, political statement that screams "we care" without any weight. With it, what another one says was the Boston Globe. With luck, she'll be cast in more roles as smart as she is. This one is merely clever, a grimly provocative entertainment whose greater meanings are gone with the wind. Ha 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 ha. And I'm bringing that up because they kind of follow a trend. I always, in group chat, I always bring up Megan Navarro,
Yeah.
because Megan Navarro, generally speaking, gives reviews I agree with, and if she doesn't, I kind of can get behind the idea she's going for. And she kind of crystallized what a lot of people have said, which is the title of her review was that it gives unflinching, heavy-handed lesson in history's horrors. It's heavy-handed. I don't deny that. It's absolutely heavy-handed,
Yeah.
and it's absolutely unflinching. I think you'd agree with me that a movie about such a subject should be unflinching. I mean, it's kind of the nature of the beast. But the thing that struck me was her last paragraph um, said there was a part in one of the reviews, for one thing, that said it wasn't as Get Out, basically. That was something I saw go through a bunch of reviews. And hers, she gave it a 2 for the record.
Out of
Said it felt
5?
out of 5. She gave it that and said it feels more in line with an episode of the Twilight Zone revival series' inaugural season. The directors use blunt force to convey the film's social messaging at the expense of everything else. They say the script lacks finesse, characterization, and narrative build. And this is the key line that struck me. There's no denying the topic is an important one, but it's been handled with much more precision in other films of its ilk. So in essence, what most people, at least the reviews I'm getting out of it, are, to not be too specific, but this is kind of in the same realm. It's not as good as Get Out, but it's okay. That seems to be what a lot of reviews are basically saying. Some may have other issues with it, some other, and I don't disagree with that at fucking all. It is not as good as Get Out. Get Out is really fucking good. But just because it's not as good as Get Out doesn't make it not good. Just because the movie is one where the one that got me was when the thing said, there's no real horror in it. She even says she's not sure it's a genre film in her review. It is a genre film. Just because you, the reviewer, don't understand where that fear is coming from your own life experiences through things that you have no choice over, your race, for example, doesn't make it not a horror movie. This movie is scary still in its own way, and so I put it where I did on my list, not because it's, you know, this amazing cinematic statement about, social justice and things like that. I put it there because I get what it's going to try to do. It's flawed because of how it's structured, but I get what it's trying to do. The acting's good if hammy in some cases. The look is very good. and I get what it's going for, and I got the gist of what's supposed to be scary. That's a good movie to me, you know? So I'm not going to sit here and say that all the reviews on Rotten Tomatoes are wrong because I can't read them all. But the idea that I'm not going to fucking read 173 reviews, are you kidding me? But but when I keep seeing the idea come up that the reason people gave it, let's say, 2, 2.5, 2 out of 4 was one I saw, is because it's not as good as something else. That's fine if it's still good. Like, would Ghostbusters 2, okay, is, to me, it's better than Ghostbusters. To you, Ghostbusters is better than Ghostbusters 2. That's personal choice. But what I'm saying is neither one of us, I know, neither one of us thinks the other movie is bad just because it's not as good as the other one.
I love
And
both Ghostbusters films,
and I think that that's at least where I fall on it. Is
and
just
I'll
that
probably love the third when it comes out.
you do that. I'm not saying it. I could say something about the use of the word third there, but I'm not going to do that. But anyway, so yeah, I think that that's been boiling inside of me for weeks, waiting for us to talk about this. So, what have you got in
I
terms of your
mean,
thoughts?
I knew that this was going to be compared to things like Get Out and Us, merely because of the race element in it, but it is nothing like those films.
Nope.
Nothing at all.
Mhm.
I really enjoyed the film. The twist kind of threw me, and I kind of hated it. But
In terms of
it,
how it's structured, you mean, or you mean the ending?
that the whole how it happened and what it was.
It's a little heavy-handed. All I'm going to say is, speaking as somebody who lived in a certain place for 15 years, that is of relevance to this discussion. I was just a kid. I never really saw it, but having been out of the area for 15 plus years now, I'm not going to say I don't think it could happen, but
Like, I think it would be very far fetched for this to actually happen.
yes. Yes, agreed.
Um, Not that I'm sure there are hundreds of thousands of people that wish it would happen, that would love to see it happen.
Yes, and one
Um,
thing I'll point out is the subtle element of the identity of one of the people involved. Not that I think a person would do that. I'm assuming you know what I'm referring to. Yeah.
yeah.
Not that I think somebody would do that, but given everything we've heard about people in similar positions in the last month or so and what they believe or what they think or what they espouse, it's not it's not like miles out of the realm of possibility. But yeah, it's a little far fetched for the whole thing to be a thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, I still very much enjoyed the film. Um, I don't think it has a whole lot of rewatchability to it personally. But I will definitely rewatch it.
I don't agree. I don't disagree with you on that. I mean, I think of it kind of like I was watching about I'm getting ready to review those goddamn Video Nasties block sets I've been trying to review for months. And I was watching the first documentary again just to get myself refamiliarized, and they talk about Serbian film in there. And one of the people said he watched it and he knows he probably doesn't ever have to watch it ever again, but he watched it. I'm not remotely comparing this in terms of its level of intensity to the Serbian film, but what I am saying about it is I have watched it. I will probably buy it eventually. I like it. Do I feel a need to watch it again in the next year? Probably not. Will I eventually? Probably. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. I also loved. I mean, of course, and I mean, I watched it in 4K, and this thing was shot in 4K, and
Hmm. Hmm.
all that. It looked absolutely amazing, especially that final third,
Hmm.
where everything starts happening. There's the smoke and the fire, and it all looked. It was fucking beautiful.
The chase was great. The ending chase was so
Yes,
good. I
yes.
mean, I have a Pixel 3a. You're a phone person. You're used to cell phones.
Mhm.
This thing is not built to show HD shit, in essence. But I was watching this on the HDX on Vudu, and it still looks good on a fucking cell phone.
Well, yeah, you're still getting it in full
That's
1080p,
what I'm saying.
so
Yeah, it still looks good even then, and I can only imagine the level higher on 4K.
it looked damn good. I will say that. One of like the whole I know different parts of films look different, different scenes, lighting, all that. The end of this film was one of the best things that I've seen in 4K.
Nice.
And when they're saying like this isn't a horror film, some horrific shit happens in this movie.
Yes. Yes.
And I mean, there's some death scenes in it that were a little more shocking and blunt than most things that you see in horror films.
Yeah, and there are taboos, shall we say, that are broken, and I don't mean the obvious ones. There are taboos in this that are absolutely just ripped apart that normally wouldn't be in a horror movie. And, some of the things that, you know, it's kind of in a way like a rape revenge movie with some of those, in that one in particular that I'm thinking of involving death of a couple people, I believe. I think if I'm remembering that scene correctly. Um, yeah, that's a pretty extreme way to kill somebody. As the movie plays out, you kind of want them to die, as you would in a rape revenge movie, but
Hmm.
it's a really fucking extreme way to kill somebody. Oh yeah.
I'd agree.
But yeah, it was fourth on my list because I gave it a 4, just like I did Invisible Man, Deeper You Dig, and Possessor.
I I give it a 3.5. Um, I mean, in my book, I know everyone's a little bit different. Three and up is good.
Oh yeah,
I've like nothing out of 2020 got a 5,
sure.
and like I think I only gave four things a 4.5. So
Hmm.
I think 3.5. I mean, coming from me is pretty fucking high, and I definitely recommend it.
Considering nothing out of 2020 got higher than a 4 for me, and Get Out was a 4.5 in my mind. I mean,
I'd give
a
Get Out a
4
4.
makes perfect sense. Yeah, yeah,
I'd give it a 4.5. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it makes perfect sense in the logic in my head. Because that's the thing.
Morgan
Even though
just
I didn't
watched that
like
for the first time the other day.
Morgan,
Morgan.
hmm good time to watch that. um. Uh. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I didn't like the structure, but at the same time, it didn't break the movie. It was weird, but it didn't break the movie, and because of that, it could still be that high. Uh. So yeah, finally, that is a review of Antebellum. Um. The news is real quick because even though we haven't recorded in like 2 or 3 weeks, I really don't have a lot to talk about. I mean, today, as we were recording this, we mentioned at the very end in last episode that they'd announced one of the things for their Forgotten Jolly Volume 3.
Hmm.
It was that Murder Mansion movie, I think. Today, they announced that they're going to put out the list of their February releases on February 1st. And in doing that, they used a header that has a picture of like a wooden chin, and everyone's taken that to mean it's let me see if I can, it's not on, it's got to be in the actual group because it's such a good group, as we were referring to earlier.
Yeah, everyone
Off
loves it
air,
so much.
so loud, so much. It says new February releases will be revealed and up for pre-order on February 1st, and the face matches up with a movie called The Fear, uh, which involves either that or its sequel. Um, which I think it's something about like a bunch of people go to a cabin in the woods and they get stalked by a wooden creature, basically that murders them.
Um,
That's the interpretation I've read about it.
I um, I don't know if I haven't seen it. I saw that when it like came out, and I was too young to understand it.
That
Um,
wouldn't
uh,
surprise me.
Marky Mark's in that.
Oh, oh no, no, no! You're thinking of Fear.
Oh,
Fear has Marky Mark in it, and that's the one where he's dating someone. He's abusive as shit. I've actually, yeah, exactly. That's Fear. The
isn't there a wooden
Fear,
doll in that?
not to my knowledge, no. There
Then
might be,
I'm
but it's
like
not this
totally
one.
getting these two movies.
I'll put it this way: there might be. I don't remember if there's a wooden doll in it. I have seen it. I don't remember if there's a wooden doll in it, but it's definitely not this one because this one's like a bunch of people go in the woods to a cabin or some like out of the way place to try and conquer their deepest fear. Hence why it's called that. And as they're doing it, this wooden creature, mannequin, automaton thing is wandering around killing them. Basically, I mean, it sounds fucking bizarre. I mean, it sounds like that kind of thing.
So this whole
Um,
time I've been totally getting those two movies confused.
happens. Um,
I
one
don't think I've ever actually seen Fear then with Marky Mark.
It's a weird ass movie. The thing you just did. The concept basically is he's dating this girl, and she's kind of in love with him, but the dad realizes something's fucked up with him, and so what he actually is just really fucking abusive. And at one point, like what he's doing in that scene is he's creating a bruise on his chest so that he can imply to his girlfriend that her father punched him to try and turn her against him.
Yeah.
And it's one of those. It's one of those early '90s relationship from hell, gaslighty misogyny movies, basically. Which, to be fair, for that time frame, actually is handled quite well for it. Um, there are definitely some other ones that don't handle it as well. It does okay in that regard. Yeah, Vincent Roberts' The Fear from 1995, or the sequel, Chris Angel's The Fear Resurrection from 1999. It's Also, someone mentioned that the company that put that out has a bunch of other stuff like Jack Frost 2, for example. So if they've got like starting to get the rights from them, there's a bunch of like early '90s kind of VHS or video store stuff that could come out through it. Severin, and this at least is a you've got 39 choices kind of thing, announced today that they got hold of some film cans for an answer print and that they have all the rights on a title from the original Video Nasty 39 that has not had a film transfer in decades. Uh, the heavy push a lot of people seem to think is Night of the Demon, which is I want to say a Bigfoot movie. Um,
They've been speculating that one for a while now, haven't they?
Yeah. Other ones that people think of because they haven't had big transfers or Blu-ray releases very often. The ghastly ones, Gestapo's Last Orgy, Flesh or Frankenstein, please fucking God.
Um,
Mardi Gras Massacre.
Gestapo's Last Orgy wasn't. Didn't
One of those one
Intervision
of those
release
has
that?
Intervision.
Didn't they?
One of
Yeah.
those Intervision has. Night of the Demon, Night of the Bloody Apes, which 88, which VCI has that one, and SS Experiment Camp. Um,
Intervision has that too.
which again, I think people just are. They don't really. They're just going with what they think people haven't seen in a while. But yeah. Um,
I mean, it's all Severin, but still. Um,
yeah, exactly. They might do a reprint. Who knows? Rescan. Um, that
I'd buy
being
them
said,
both on Blu-ray.
in the time since we last recorded, they did announce their April releases, which include a 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray 4-disc set of Santa Sangre, a Blu-ray of Grizzly, hell yeah, a Blu-ray of Date of the Animals, which if you have not watched Leslie Nielsen be an utter and complete prick and fight a bear shirtless, you have not fucking lived, because that
I
movie is fucking amazing. um, and also from I believe Claudio Fragasso or no, or Bruno Mattei. I think it was Fragasso. Deep Blood, which is the movie that they get the shark footage from when they made Cruel Jaws. Yeah, Deep Blood is 1990. Joe D'Amato. Joe D'Amato. Joe D'Amato made that one, and there's not going to really much of a special feature. It's just a trailer, but this is the movie that gets the footage that was used in Cruel Jaws. Full Moon is there's no other way to put it. Full mooning. Um, they announced that at some point this year they're releasing. I'm going to legitimately hold this up to the screen because it is that fucking stupid looking. Piranha Women.
Woo.
Don't get them wet.
Oh, they'll get
Um,
wet.
don't get that. I know, right? Literally looks like they took the footage they used to use for Beach Babes from Beyond on the cover and just added some zip lines and made them water ski on piranhas. because full moon got a full moon. Uh, Don't Let Her In, which is from Ted Nicolau, the creator of Subspecies. And because it wasn't enough to make Blade, the Iron Cross from Puppet Master, and it wasn't enough to make Evil Bong and Ooga Booga and all the other ones they've made with assorted characters from other things, we have Demonic Toys Baby Oopsie. Can someone please just tell them to just focus on putting out like Klaus Kinski weird Jallos and other shit that isn't made in Charles Band's fucking office on a green screen, please? Because fucking hell.
As you said, full moon going to full moon.
Full moon gonna full moon. Severin. There's one
I
other
will
one I wanted
say,
to.
with Severin and Santa Sangre, Diabolic has it like $5 or $6 cheaper on the pre-order, and you know their shipping's cheaper. Just saying.
Well, I mean, hey, you're talking to somebody who bought the Lindsay Baker set from Diabolic,
So did I.
and then Severin, after I ordered it, decided to go, oh hey, we're gonna include I want to say they said they were gonna include a CD in it. You know, that was gonna be put in everything. If you got this, you get this CD. And then they said, oh yeah, and if you order from us, you get the Cinestop photo comic reproduction of the So Deadly So Perverse photo book. Yeah, exactly. You're doing exactly what I am. I bought it for $5 afterwards at a sale. I know,
Me
right? Yeah,
too.
I know. So I've got everything that's in their set, and I spent less to buy it.
I've got this one laying
Um,
around too.
yep, me too. That one I did buy from their website. In the original set, because I saw that movie in 35mm, and it's probably one of my favorite Giallos. Strange by Mrs. Ward, that is.
It's an
Um,
interesting one.
yeah, it's weird. There's something else.
And weird for a Giallo is saying something.
Yes. Yeah, there's some moments in there where you just don't understand what the hell they were trying to do. I'm particularly thinking of the cat fight scene in the middle of the party with the strange tearaway clothing. I don't know any other way to put it than that. Yeah. Joe Bob's doing another special in February for Valentine's Day. Smart Money's on My Bloody Valentine and something.
If Dance Commander has his way, it'll be Valentine.
Hey, honestly, Valentine ain't bad.
It's not, but
I like Valentine.
I'd
Weird. But it's
I'd
late
rather
90s slash so weird.
I'd rather two other things than both of those films.
Namely?
Huh?
But like what? I'm
I don't
curious.
know. I don't
Oh,
know. I just
you're saying in terms of I get you. You're saying in terms of that doubleheader, you'd rather two other things.
I'd rather him do two other films. Yeah. Just
I
because
feel
I've
like he can't.
seen both of them a lot, and I just got a notification that my Scream Factory My Bloody Valentine Steelbook should be here on Tuesday, February 9th.
Ordered from Amazon?
Yep.
Hang on.
Because it was like on sale, like $15 off one day. I think we all bought it the same freaking day.
Yeah, that's what I don't understand what it is, but like I didn't get a shipping notification for my Vinegar Syndrome order, which just came today, as we record
Literally
this.
before we started recording, I got the email from Amazon with a shipment update, like we have an estimated time for when this should be here now, kind of thing.
I've been getting some weird shit showing up in my spam folder instead of the other. Yeah. Well, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. That's junk. That's bullshit. That's bullshit.
Hey, look, see this? That's a subpoena for me to testify in a murder case.
Woo! I think you mentioned that, yeah.
It was supposed to be yesterday, and
Just in
they're
case you were
going.
curious as to why we were saying things have been so fucked up over the last 2 weeks.
Yeah. So I guess they called me, and I'm like, hey, what the fuck am I supposed to do? And they're like, oh, we'll call you back. They called me back like 9 hours later, and like, yeah, we still need you, but this case is getting pushed back at least until after February. And I said, okay.
Okay. Eh, I'll
Like,
keep
but
my
we'll call
eyewitness
you and
account locked in the back of my head.
like we still need you to testify. And I'm like, all right, whatever I need to do. I mean,
Yes, yes.
the guy's obviously guilty.
Yeah.
I didn't see anything. If anybody's wondering, it was a murder like 2 streets up. Not even 2 streets up. Fucking the side street across the street from my house. Uh, Almost 2 years ago. 2 years this late spring coming, and my security camera, my Ring doorbell, actually, oddly enough, somebody parked in front of my house, and it kicked on, and it caught the suspect's car actually going to this guy's house.
There you go.
And then when that guy was hauling ass down the hill, he took the turn too wide and came up on my sidewalk in front of my steps, and
Kicked
my
on
camera
again, yeah.
picked him up again, leaving, which was real fucking crazy because you could hear people screaming
Oh,
and
yeah, yeah,
crying in
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
background. Man, it was kind of rough.
That's kind of, yeah, I can imagine.
So I guess I just have to testify that yes, I
This is my
gave
Ring
the
camera.
footage. Yeah, like that. This is the footage from whatever day it was. I have to go look back up, but that's my role in this case.
Of
Apparently,
course,
they're like, you should be there for no more than 5 minutes. I'm like, that's great.
yeah. I'm going now. Mine, I think I ordered mine later than you did. So I figure it'll ship in the next few days.
Oh, it's not
Um,
shipped. That's just telling me when it should be here. So
oh,
you'll
I don't
probably
even
get
have
it comes out on that day. So you'll probably get it that day as well.
exactly. It'll move around eventually. Um, someone mentioned the rest of what Vinegar Syndrome was definitely going to release. They had announced something else for that particular day in their original "Here's our survivor or subscriber package" thing. I don't remember what that was though. Um, but that was the February stuff. Um, the Ten Commandments is coming out on 4K. Woo hoo hoo hoo. Yeah, same opinion. But yeah, I think that's most of the news that I had remembered that I was going to talk about. I mean, they're making a prequel to the Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and unless they're getting Tim Burton to direct it, it will have nothing to do with us.
Um, if anybody's out there and you've got a copy of Action USA from Vinegar Syndrome, I need it because it's sold out.
Hmm. There was a moment briefly, someone posted on the Vinegar Syndrome Facebook group that they had it on Orbit DVD.
As soon as I went there,
And
you couldn't even search for it.
well, according to some of the commenters, there's a strong chance that Vinegar Syndrome went, "What the fuck are you doing?" Because apparently the rules about the VSA ones are it's only supposed to be available from their website online, and then they send it to brick and mortar stores to carry brick and mortar only. So like Grindhouse Video in Tampa gets copies of it but can't put them on the website
Right.
because they're not allowed, basically. They have to sell
Well,
only
and
in store.
yeah, like Diabolic gets stuff like that, but it's convention only
Yes.
because they don't have like a brick and mortar store. They take them to
Right.
conventions.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised at the stuff that I've heard that they have had that they've never once put on their website.
I
That I
bought
don't know if I'm allowed to say.
I can just say this one because it's old as shit. I bought my original Arrow when it was originally released and region free before they got into some kind of thing and had to pull it and made it be region B locked. The original green box Battle Royale set, the first Battle Royale movie on Arrow Blu-ray. I got that for 70 from a convention once out of print at the time. So I don't I definitely buy that basically.
Yeah, but I need that. I had no like there's it seems like there's no fucking rhyme or reason that 4,000 of those should have sold out so quickly.
Oh, there is. It's called Scalpers. Idiot Scalpers.
But like Necromancer and what was the other one?
Savage Harbor.
Martial Law 1 and
Martial Law 1
2.
and 2. Yeah.
There's still tons of those.
So, from what Dead Rat noted listener and watcher, said, and I don't disagree with it. There was a push when it came out and got like theatrical screenings that Vinegar Syndrome put on, that it was like crazy and like think Miami Connection. Like that's generally the gold standard example of something that got released after being in a theatrical series of runs that was batshit crazy and then came out and everybody was all crazy about it. That tends to be what people think about a lot of the early 90s theatrical stuff. Um so or early 90s action stuff. So
Hmm.
they thought of it along that line, and so some people, when they saw it, they were like, "Holy shit, this is the one that everyone's talking about." Is it that crazy? Fuck if I know, but I mean that would also explain it. Um, for the record, I technically can show this because I bought it. God damn it! But the entire reason why my Vinegar Syndrome order took until today to get here is this item that will not release until 5 days from now as we record this, the AGFA Horror Trailer Show Blu-ray, which came out now, whereas everything else I order is long since thing. Yeah, so but this apparently it's still easily gettable. I mean, I've mentioned on the show before and in many other places I am the god-loving trailer compilation person, and I could not resist this. It's going to be a similar thing later this year when Mondo Macabro puts out their first one. Um,
That is something that you do.
so I mean, from what I've seen of the Agfa mixtapes already, I mean, whatever is on this is going to be worthwhile.
I need to get that, and I need to get She Mob.
Yeah, I could see that because I've seen some of they put up some of the footage from it as like a trailer. Like with this, the reason why it's a good deal is you get the 80-minute Ag for Horror trailer show, which it says is 2K scanned from a newly struck 35 mm theatrical print. But then you also get a commentary from the team on it. You get a short film called "Say Goodbye to Your Brain," which is it's described as a found footage horror experiment. And then the really interesting thing is you get this, and then you also get the bonus movie, the Agfa Horror Trailer Show Video Rage, a full-length mixtape celebrating the wildest shot-on-video and direct-to-video trailers from their video dungeon. So you get two compilation movies for the price of one, plus a short film, plus a commentary. At that price, that's worth it.
Yeah,
But
because I think it's like 20, 22.99,
it was
24.99.
22, something like that. Yeah, yeah. And that's the thing with Vinegar Syndrome. Generally speaking, I have a pretty good handle on it. So, for example, you behind you have a copy of Forgotten Jally 1 and Forgotten Jally 2.
I do.
Uh, I have one that I just got from this sale. I also know that as I bought that, that 2 was getting released at that exact moment and was full price. And I know people are not moving fast enough on Vinegar Syndrome to sell that sucker out before the next sale. There's still over 1,000 copies of it left. So I'm going to get that at the next sale, most likely, and maybe even the third volume if it's on sale, because that comes out next month.
Comes out next month.
Yes, it is the
Wow.
one of the it's the February title is the list was the third Forgotten Jolly selection, another movie that I can't remember the name of, but Hitcher in the Dark. Hitcher in the Dark is supposed to be out next month, and then they said a third movie, and that seems to match with the Fear uh, that they announced today via the picture. So we'll see if that's how this all plays out. But yeah,
I pre-ordered, and it should be shipping out next week. Cthulhu Mansion.
I was going to use the $5 coupon they gave for shipping delays for stuff, and then I realized literally all that does is make your shipping free, basically.
Yeah.
If you haven't spent, and I was like, you know what, I can wait on that then. But that's
Uh,
you have to let me know how that was because that one I seriously was considering getting, and I really want to know how good it is.
I ordered something else. Oh, they had gotten, I guess, maybe some cancellations on LA Wars, and I added that
Yes.
to it. So I got Cthulhu Mansion and LA Wars coming.
Mhm. Speaking of things we have coming, both of us still do have it coming, and it'll be probably shipping at some point in February. Crimes of the Black Cat and Beyond Terror from Cauldron. That's still coming. I
And
mean,
my hard boxes.
yes, and your hard boxes and my retail level editions of American Rickshaw and Abracadabra. So those will be good when those come out. Providing that Chuck gets hold of copies of Crimes of the Black Cat and Beyond Terror, we'll probably review them on the show.
I think he'll get them. If not,
Well,
we'll review them without him.
yeah, of course, because we can. Especially now that my mic's not echoing. Don't ask me what the fuck caused that the last time we tried to record just us.
It was only well, and then this actually the best of episode, like 2 minutes and 34 seconds into the.
And we didn't even do anything to fix it. I mean,
I got
I
nothing.
don't know. I don't know. But anyway, this much shorter since there's a third less person on this episode of Exorcast. Episode of Exorcast seems to be winding down.
Yes.
So
Chuck's off taking chair shots or pretending to be a wrestler or something.
or T-boning a bathtub again.
I like to think that that's what's happening. He's
Always.
falling in groom shower.
So what was it he said? He said specifically that he was going to
Tonight?
127 Pro Wrestling.
I don't know what that is.
Neither do I.
No clue.
Oh, I did want to get your thoughts because I think personally that it looks really fucking stupid. That's just me. Did you see the Twitter post I sent into the group chat that that Matt liked, in which they revealed a ghost character from the new Ghostbusters movie coming out called Muncher?
Yeah, but you know what? That looks like a real crappy video game render.
True. That's what I'm saying. My hope for you and for all the Ghostbusters fans is that in the movie it kind of fits better, kind of thing, than
Well, I
that
mean,
picture.
and still, even in that photo, like I'm looking at it right now, like everything is animated in that photo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that may be like an early like
Yeah.
sketch or
That's what I'm
something.
saying. I'm hoping that it's, yeah. I was just really surprised at that because I was like, I wouldn't be promoting that. Like I'd find something else to promote about this. But hopefully it'll still be good.
I've got high hopes.
I know.
Teaser trailer looks good.
Hey. Oh, and side point for video game fans, they did a lot of footage from Resident Evil Village today. Did you ever play 7?
That Biohazard.
Yeah, Biohazard, the one with the southern swamp house and the
It's good
bug
stuff.
shit. 8 apparently is a direct sequel. Ethan's still the main character, except somehow now you've been taken to like some kind of weird European city-ish looking thing with a big
Because I was
castle.
wondering because
Yeah.
and now that you've got two different endings
Hmm.
for Biohazard.
Yeah, you do.
You can because you take a vaccine and there's one vaccine left and you can give it to your fiance Mia or you can give it to the girl like that was living
Yeah.
with them that helped you escape.
Yeah. Hmm.
So in the teaser trailer,
Hmm.
the guy I didn't realize it was Ethan, but he says Mia, and the girl turns around, she's cooking in the kitchen or something. So I had no idea. I haven't watched the showcase they did today. I was actually going to do that after this.
I've seen a little bit of it. I mean, and I can't speak to much of it because it really wasn't that much. They announced a release date for May, digital deluxe edition, a deluxe edition that comes with like a Chris Redfield statue, um,
Because
or
Chris
one of those.
Redfield is in this.
Yes, somewhere I guess they didn't really explain that much very much. Um, they announced some weird looking new multiplayer game called RE Verse. Yeah, RE Verse, and it looks like it has like Leon and Jill and Claire and the old man from Resident Evil 7 and Nemesis, and they're all shooting at each other. It might be a battle royale. It might just be an arena shooter. I don't know. That was announced.
Is that free or is that like?
They just said that they're doing it. They haven't said anything about what they're doing, time wise,
I'd
payment wise,
check that
anything.
out if it was something that was not going to cost me money.
They seem to be kind of just getting started on it. They're not kind of like finished with it or anything like that yet.
Because I guess they did an online game already.
For RE3, they had a mode for it for
Okay,
the remake they
for
did. Yeah,
their reissue.
yeah. But yeah, I
But
didn't
this game's
watch
got
it,
like fucking witches and werewolves and zombies and shit in it.
and apparently, not to spoil too much, people who can just turn into fucking tornadoes of bugs. Uh,
Well, that kind of happened in Biohazard.
yeah, but like, I mean, she was still present in
True.
Biohazard when the things would come out of her. In the way they're showing it here, literally, like they can transform into a fucking swarm, and then you can see them kind of like rematerialize lightly from the swarm and come after you. And there's yeah,
Like
um,
Biohazard had a lot of shit going on in it. Like you had the
oh
family
yeah,
that was all infected and mutating, and then there's like the fucking Japanese little ghost girl in
mm-hmm,
the upstairs of the one building, and
mm-hmm,
didn't make any
yeah,
goddamn sense to me.
no, but hey, why not? RE8 has another merchant in it. You know, the what are you selling Resident Evil 4 level guy. Some big fat guy is basically just going to be the guy who helps you with selling stuff. It also has a inventory system like RE4 where you'd move like the guns and stuff to kind of fit them into the thing.
Yeah,
It has that again. It has crafting like like 7 did. Um like I said, I didn't see the actual trailer because I got into it a little late, but those were the major like things they announced. But there, it looks like to me anyway. It looks like Seven's better to me. You'll be able to try the demo they announced first because it's PlayStation 5 exclusive, and then they'll do a second demo later that covers PS4 as well.
as
Um,
soon as that demo goes up, I'm gonna download it.
yeah, I don't know if they're calling it Maiden as in like that'll be what you search for, or if it's just that you're playing a character named Maiden in it.
Because I was
Um,
searching for Maiden and didn't see anything.
if anything, search Resident Evil Village demo or something like that. Those either one of those might work. Um, because it seemed like they were implying it would be out like now for the demo. Yeah, Resident Evil Village Maiden demo hits PS5 today. This from the PlayStation blog. Launch date May 7th, 2021. PS5 and Time Worn Castle, The Range, Denizens, Rotund Merchant. Uh, online multiplayer Resident Evil Reverse featuring fan favorite characters you'll be able to buy for free to those that buy Resident Evil Village. So much like in Resident Evil 3 where you got the free game, that was the multiplayer thing, in this one they're going to have a free multiplayer game and that's REverse.
Hmm.
So it's not pay, it's literally part of the game.
Good.
The tall woman in it is mentioned in the trailer and stuff. But yeah. Standalone demo for Resident Evil Village known as Maiden, available for download only on PS5 starting today. Um, you can't fight, you can't block. You're just in control of the character as she attempts to escape the castle. It's a standalone, separate experience from the main game. Kind of a short story set within the world of it. But yeah, it's supposed to be out at some point today.
I am downloading it right now to my
Yep, that's it.
PlayStation.
There it goes. Yep. But yeah, so good for them. Oh, and there's also going to be a Netflix Resident Evil movie by the end of the year. So it's CGI. They either do the one or the other. Um,
The first, the first one was good.
I've heard generally good things about most of the CGI ones, but you know, I mean, I like the whole franchise. I'd be willing to do a franchise retrospective this year on that. I love the Resident Evil movies, but Apocalypse is pretty weak on my mind, but everything else is pretty good.
Is your wife playing PlayStation right now?
Yes, probably. I'm assuming you know that she's probably playing Ghost of Tsushima.
She is.
Well, I mean, look, I've already told you, okay, it's fucking great, and you really need to buy it because you will appreciate the fuck out of it.
Um, I wanted to get it when I saw the original trailer for it back when I really wasn't playing video games at the moment. And next time it has like a drastic price drop again, I absolutely will.
It is absolutely fucking amazing. Story's real good, and the gameplay style is very much it hits the nail on the head of what it's going for of trying to do a samurai story and a samurai movie kind of story. So it's definitely a recommendation. But anyway, this is not the video game podcast. This is the horror movie and horror stuff podcast. So with that,
With
we
that,
can actually we can finish an episode before an hour.
yeah, something like that. Um, yeah, we'll be back next week, hopefully with Chuck talking about his and my favorite movie of the year. Um,
Wolf of Snow Hollow.
Yep, The Wolf of Snow Hollow. So yeah, thanks for watching, and stay tuned. Hopefully, we'll get this one up sooner than I got the last one up, and Chuck will be
Short
back to
notice.
record.
Yep.
If not, fuck him.
I mean, after all, we didn't even have to tell him to shut up this time because he's not even here.
Right. I'll still put it up there.
Of course.
Thanks for watching. Share, like, subscribe, all that stuff, and yeah.